Hello and welcome to another episode of the Discover Your Assets webinar. Today I'll be your host, Progress Ogbeifun, and of course I'm sure you enjoyed last week's edition of the Discover Your Assets webinar. So if you were able to join us last week, kindly put in the comment section one or two things you were able to take home and of course apply to your daily endeavors. So this week we have an interesting speaker in the house that is going to be taking us on a new and innovative model. I'm sure you can't wait, right? But before we dive right into this week's episode, I'm sure you know that a lot of knowledge, a lot of insights, a lot of to-do and assignments are going to be flying around. So this is the perfect time for you to get your P squared, which of course is your pen and your paper. So rush, get that while we kick start. So without much ado, I would like to introduce our speaker for today. It is a very intelligent, energetic, innovative, creative, and funny businessman. He is more into the people development, and that is why we had to drag him here today to come share one or two insights with us from his well of knowledge. So without much ado, please join me with a smiling ovation, Mr. Ebuka Adichebe.
Thank you very much, Progress.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, everybody. Hello, viewers. How are you doing today? My name is Ebuka, and I am an entrepreneur. I'm also a coach. Okay, I teach on communication skills, and today I'll be giving you some insights and some highlights on some skills you can use to quickly build rapport with people and influence them in a way that hopefully is positive to both of you. So stay tuned.
Oh, beautiful. I think he has already given us an expo what this discussion is going to be about. So, Mr. Ebuka, what are we talking about today?
Okay, so today we're going to talk about understanding people, how to get along with people, because I think if you want to really go far in business, in sales, in management, in leadership, your communication skills with people must be excellent. Must be excellent, especially if you want to have an impact in the world that is much larger than just having a family, having children, right? You want to have a much bigger impact. You definitely need to understand human behavior, understand how people react in different situations, and how to build rapport with them.
Okay. Why is it important to be able to build rapport with people or understand people?
Okay, so let's say you want to talk to a child. Let me just make this really simple. You want to talk to a child. You've never seen this child before. Maybe the child is in church, right? And you see the child the first time. And if you're standing over the child, there's no rapport, especially if the child is 4 years old, 5 years old. They look at you like, who is this tall, gigantic auntie, right? But the moment you come down to their level and you take a kneel and say, hello, how are you? There's a difference in that. So you can build rapport with children that way. The same thing with adults. You can build rapport with them. If you're on the road and you see a policeman, right? And maybe your papers are not complete. Not that I advise that, but you know, women usually tend to forget. Why do women forget their car papers all the time? Anyway, so you're a woman, you see that an officer flags you down and he's speaking pidgin. Madam, your boy is very loyal, and you want to start speaking English. You can immediately break rapport and say, okay, madam, pack well, we will say your documents. But if you continue on that lingua franca, and he's speaking pidgin, officer, hello. Immediately you can instantly develop that kind of bond, right? As opposed to if you are going to speak just coincident English.
And from personal experience, some time ago, I used to be very introverted. Like I don't talk to people. Really. So somebody was like asking me one time, okay, what do you want to do in life? I was like, oh, I want to be able to help people and blah 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 stuff. And the person was like, how can you help people when you don't know what they need? So bringing that to the business or the entrepreneur sector now, you can't serve a customer when you don't know what they need. You can't serve their needs when you don't even know what their needs are. So in the process of this rapport, you get to understand what they need and how your services or your products attend to those needs, and also how to position the product or services you're selling to them.
That's right.
So I think that is another important reason why rapport and understanding communication skills with people is very, very important.
Vital.
So now that we've talked about why it's important, I would like to ask, is it limited to a particular sector when it comes to business or individuals? Like, who are the kind of people that should be interested
in learning this skill?
Exactly.
Just about anybody that wants to hopefully influence somebody other than themselves.
Yeah.
So whether in the boardroom, whether in the bedroom, you definitely need rapport, right? Because people, you want to ask for certain favors in certain ways that makes it much more likely that you get a positive response to, right? So that's why you need to be in sync with the other person, right? So if you go to see someone that is ill in the hospital, for example, doctors are taught about bedside manners, right? You don't go to someone that is ill in the hospital and lie down and I say, my guy, how far now? No, you calm down, your voice comes down a notch, right? Oh, madam, how was your night? Right? So that's where that greeting, how was your night, came from. Actually, doctors asking patients in the morning, oh, how was your night?
Really?
Yes, so and now people kind of emulate doctors because in this side of the world, we put doctors on a pedestal.
Yeah.
So, oh, we say, how was your night now? So, and we say like how doctors ask us, oh, how was your night, right? So that's kind of bridges rapport. And the person will say, oh, fine, thank you, doctor. And you'll realize that the bedside manners of a doctor, that is, he may not exactly be the best doctor in the world, but if his bedside manner is excellent, patients will respond and say that, oh, I like that doctor, simply because of how he treats them. So everybody needs to learn this in a way.
But you know, some patients become specific as the doctors that attend to them.
Precisely.
Yeah. So now bringing it to career or business setting, because I'm sure a lot of us have one or two businesses that we are currently pushing or we hope to push someday. So bringing it in the business setting to build rapport with a prospective client or a suspect or whatever category they still are at that point, what would you say are like the essentials that needs to be put in place?
Okay, so first of all, there has to be, so I meet you for the first time, right? And if I realize that I will, pass a compliment, because people don't hear that so often. So I'll pass a compliment so that we have that, we establish that sense of, okay, this person has good taste. So if I say, oh, you look so beautiful, you will say thank you, and you say, okay, this man has good taste, right? And it had nothing to do with me, it had everything to do with you. But because I do that, right, then I've suddenly got to maybe, let's say, 1 point. Next is, when I sit down with you, I want to, without you knowing, kind of mirror exactly, especially if I want something from you, right? So if you're a salesperson, then I know you're trying to influence me. I don't need to actively do this. But if I'm the salesperson or I'm the person that is seeking a favor to be granted, then I want to be in sync with you. So I'm going to likely sit down the way you're sitting down. And if you notice how I'm sitting down now, you know exactly it's exactly how you're sitting down. And I will kind of mirror everything you do, right? So if you ask for, oh, I want coffee, I will ask for coffee as well, right? If you say, oh, coffee all black, no sugar, no cream, I'll say all black, no sugar, no cream, right? So now you start thinking that, oh, we like the same things, right? So it becomes easy for you to also say yes to my request, because people that are similar like people that are like them. So hey, that's how it works.
One of my mentors once said that people like two categories of people. Number one is the people that are like them. Number two is the people they want to be like.
Excellent.
So if you want to build a rapport, you have to be one of these. Is that you're in the category of the person likes, or the category of the person wants to be like. Exactly. Precisely. Exactly. So now bringing this, as I said, because I want us to really focus more on the career business sector. So as a customer, what do you think are the needs of a customer that needs to be met by the seller or the owner of the owner of the business, the person in charge of the services or product? What do you think are the needs of the customer from that person to be able to buy into what the person is selling?
Okay, so I think first of all is empathy. Empathy is key. Your ability to understand exactly what the person wants. And so that has to do, you don't get empathy from the air, you get empathy from listening. Right? So listening skills is the first thing, first criteria. How good are you as a listener? A friend of mine was complaining on Facebook that his television got broken. He had to go buy a new television. And he realized that, he didn't need to subscribe to DSTV since he doesn't have a TV to watch it. And then next thing you know, somebody calls from DSTV office telling him that his subscription has expired. And he said, well, that's his television broke, he's yet to replace it, so it has to be next month. And he said that the person didn't hear anything about what he said and kept insisting, oh, but you have to renew. And he just said, didn't you just hear I said my television broke? And that kind of broke rapport. with him, and he said, look, I'm not going to even after I buy this, I'm not going to go back to that service anymore. Why? Reason is somebody wasn't listening. He was sharing with a total stranger his own family troubles of how his television broke. And the least the person could do was, oh, so sorry about that. Oh, I've experienced this myself. And now television prices are so expensive because of the dollar price. Now that gets a conversation going. And now it's much more likely that he can say, okay, so when I come back, can you call me back in 1 week time or 2 weeks time and remind me on this? But she missed out on that opportunity, so he was not going to go back. So again, listening skills. People always want to feel important.
Of course.
Right? And this is like the first rule of human beings. Everybody wants to feel important. And progress, the thing is this. The key word here is feel important. They don't want to be important. They just want to feel important. Right? Because if you want to be important, you will likely go running for election, right? For public office in Nigeria. But at the same time, you still want to feel like you matter. And the way I make you feel like you're important is paying attention to you. Paying attention to the subtle things you're saying and even the things you're not saying. Right? If I ask you, oh, how are you? And I say, you did now. I know that something underneath that needs exploring. And I say, my sister, everybody did anyhow now. What was really going on? What's new in your life? And you may open up, right? If I inquire and probe further. That's the same thing. You need to be able to have two things. Number one, be a good listener. And secondly, be a good questioner. Right? You want to have interviewing skills so that when people don't say what, you go deeper and probe to know what exactly is not being said, because that's where the goal is. I think body language is even more important, right? The way, and your body is from the crown of your head to the sole of your feet, so you want to be able to even look at how their eye movement works, right? Are they shifty when they're telling you, well, I'll see you tomorrow, and then they choose not to look at you in your eyes, then it's likely that means it may not even hold, right? When they are speaking to you and they kind of at a corner to you, they refuse to face you directly, right?
They are not involved.
Realize that they're not involved, right? They're looking, if somebody also starts edging towards the door, right, they want to get out. They're looking at their time. You need to be able to understand those subtle things, and then you follow up on them. If you see them holding, it could be that if you see them folding their hand like this, two things. It could be that they're defensive, but the ace is too cold, right? So you need to be able to put that in context. So again, it requires you to be present. You can't pick up on these things when you're looking at your mobile phone and you're trying to carry on a conversation, right? So you need to be giving the person your attention. And when people feel that you have given them your attention, even if it's for 5 minutes, then they appreciate you more, right? They feel appreciated, and so in turn they appreciate you. They want to continue this conversation with you. So I just think it's something everyone should master.
So from what Mr. Ebuka just said, listening to people actually make them feel important, and everybody, it is the number one need for every man to feel important. So put in the comment section how well you're doing at making people around you feel important and appreciated. So moving on, Mr. Ebuka, what would you say is customers' journey before they get to that point of being a suspect to being a client? With that gap, what would you say?
When you suspect somebody has either the money or the interests, right, to buy your product or service, now that's a suspicion, you know. The next thing is obviously to introduce yourself to this person, right? So you come into the known, and that's the first thing. The person must get to know you, all right? So knowledge. You come, you introduce yourself. You can do this either verbally, right, face to face, or even online, right? You can decide to write them a letter, you can send them an email, you can send them a text message, but you need to get into the know. So you get them to know you. Hi, my name is this, and I want to help you with XYZ, XYZ. Or hi, my name is Ebuka, and I help people like you do XYZ, XYZ. Immediately you want to jump into exactly what you help people like them do, right? If they are interested, then obviously they will say, how do you do that, right? So you tell them what you do, but then if they're interested, they will ask you how you do that, and that gives you a pitch. So definitely your elevator pitch must be on point. Oh, I help people like you get a house for just 4 million naira. Oh, how do you do that? That becomes the next natural thing. 4 million naira, where? In this Abuja. Now you've gotten your leeway to get in there. So getting the customer to know you first, getting them to like you. That's the next thing, right? So they know you, but they don't know if they like you, right? So you need to get them to like you. So this is where your personality comes in. And now realize that your personality can be developed.
Of course.
You can develop your personality. You yourself just mentioned that you were introverted before, you were very shy, but now look at you, right? So the same thing, anybody can choose to develop themselves. And that's why we're human beings. The very word being means you're ever evolving, right?
Yeah.
So that's basically why I want people to be able to learn. Myself, I used to be very shy for different reasons, right? Very backward, very behind. But then my bank account was also shy. And so I said, you know what, enough of this shy game. It's not working anymore. Let's go out there. So the things I learned along the way in order to gain my own self-confidence and then also get confidence in dealing with people. And that's the part where you get people to like you, right? So I can mirror your voice. If I'm speaking to you as a lady, I'm going to definitely take my voice to be much more calmer. I'll bring out the tone of my voice and, kind of speak in a way that is pleasing to your ears. Okay. If I'm dealing with my guys, right? I mean, my drinking buddies in the evening, then my voice is going to be a lot more deeper and louder at the same time, right? So that it's just a man thing. So they know that they have to pay attention to me. So if I go dealing with boys and I'm telling them, you will not believe what happened to me. Like, nobody's going to take you serious. Like, I beg, you make noise, right? But it's so with different places you can be different people, and that requires mastery of, again, your tonality, your body language, and the words you're using. Okay, there's situations I will go to that I will almost never speak English. I grew up in Warri.
Oh.
So if I'm in Warri or in school in Benin, if I'm in Benin, then I'm definitely going to speak in Pidgin, lots of Pidgin, and my Pidgin won't even be the polished Abuja type of Pidgin. It will be the inner Pidgin, right? The inner, we're using all the words that is in vogue right now, because I need to build rapport with that audience. So don't assume, oh, na so I be, and then assume that na so I be means that this is how you should just take me like that. If you really want to get people to, be waved or moved by your words, right? You need to learn about them, learn a bit about human psychology, and learn how to influence those levels of human psychology, which we'll talk about in a bit, because there are 6. We've talked about 1, which is significance, but there are 5 more that if you know how to use them on different people, you realize that what a child wants and what an adult wants and what a youth wants are very different, right? Oh. No, they're different. They're different. The needs are different in terms of the hierarchy. They may be the same in terms of, we all share these needs, but in terms of what's important to you now, is going to be very different, right? So for you, for example, what's important to you now may be money. Right? Maybe money, maybe, I want to be comfortable, I want to be financially secure, I want to be able to provide. That could be what is in it for you now. But imagine if you were 10 years younger, you were still in school, your needs are different, right? You're looking for variety, you're looking from freedom to do as you please. But as you get older, I think that freedom to do as you please, freedom to go out, freedom to go clubbing, freedom to drive car is no longer so valid. What you're looking for right now is freedom from worry.
I totally agree with that. So for now, on the customer's journey to becoming a client, first they have to know you. Know what you do, know what you have to offer, know who you are. Then secondly, they have to like you. But you said something very striking, which I would like the audience to really note down. You said something, we are called human beings because, of course, we have the ability to keep evolving. Evolving is one thing that most people don't even pay attention to it, because I can just see Mr. Ebuka doing something very well and I'll be like, Mr. Ebuka has that gift. Meanwhile, it's not like he was born with the gift, he trained himself to actually acquire that skill. Which means almost everything we want to do or acquire are learnable. Communication skills, they are learnable. Presentation skills, they are learnable. Every skill that you need to take you from where you are now to where you want to be, they are mostly learnable. So it means you can actually take your own destiny in your hands. Not say, I don't have that gift, so I don't have to be part of that. You can train yourself and learn that. So now taking us to the last part, after they know you and they like you, what next?
Then they have to trust you. They have to trust you, because I can like you, right? But even if I like you, I'm not going to trust you with barbing my hair, because this is very special haircut. You guys see this special haircut, right? So I can't trust you with that, because I touched the clipper before. So I might like you, but how do I trust you? And trust is on 3 levels.
Okay.
Trust is on 3 levels. So first level of trust is, do I trust you as an individual, right?
Okay.
Do I trust that you follow through with what you say? And I may have to check out a bit about you, maybe go on your social media, see what your history is like, see how people respond to you. So I know if you have the public trust. That's one level of trust. Second level of trust is, do I trust the products that you are offering? Do I have confidence in these particular products? So I'm going to ask you questions like, who else is doing this?
Yeah.
Right? So at this point, you want to show me that, look, other people have approved of this. You're not my guinea pig. Other people are already doing this.
Yeah.
So I want to trust that product. And then finally, do I trust the company you represent? Right? So who's the MD of your company? It's first when you say young person, how long have you guys been in business for?
Yeah.
Right? Are you guys registered with SEC? Are you guys registered with CSC?
Yeah.
All of these questions. So, but your job is to therefore create trust on these three levels. You trust me, you trust my company, you trust my products. Boom, I'm in the game. So, but the first thing is always make sure that you maintain your own trustworthiness. So if you say you're going to do something, you go ahead and do it. If you fail to do something, you apologize sincerely and profoundly. Look, I'm sorry for this reason, I couldn't do this, right? So that you maintain that degree of trust.
So basically, people don't do business with people they like. They do business with people they trust.
Excellent.
Beautiful. So now that we've discussed the customer journey from point A to point B, now what are you said something about 6
Oh yeah, so the 6 levers of influence. If you know this is like the needs of human beings. So if I meet somebody for the first time, I'm thinking to myself, like, this is that now subconsciously, and it comes automatically because I've been doing this for a while. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe I need to influence the person for whatever reason. What's the most important to this person? So number one, human beings want to be certain. They want certainty. They want they have a need to feel that they are sure of whatever it is you're doing. So you need to make them feel more certain, right? How do you make people feel more certain? Show them that you have experience in this thing, you have expertise in this area, you're educated in this area. So 3 things, I call them the 3 E's. And you can always use these 3 E's, okay? Educate people, enlighten them, and entertain them.
Yeah.
Once you can do this, then people start to trust you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this person knows what they're up to. So for me as an individual, every day I tell stories. I tell stories on my WhatsApp stories, and it's interesting for people to just see me from different perspectives and my own take on news events, on happenings around you. I try to do that because that way I know that I'm building trust.
Yeah.
People say, oh, you spend so much time doing this. I say, I'm working because I'm a salesman, right?
Yeah.
So I'm always building trust and most building rapport with people from different walks of life. So that is my need for building that. Ebuka is not going anywhere, right? You see me every day. If I'm owing people money, then you won't see me every day, right? So this is me out there, right? I'm visible.
Yeah.
I'm highly visible. So if I was screwing people behind their back, people will be giving back feedback. But go Google about me.
Yeah.
So that's certainty. The second thing people want is variety.
Okay.
People want variety. So don't come to people telling them about the same thing all over again. So right now, when I go to people and tell them, oh, I have this thing I'm working on, it's a nice house in Guzape, right? I don't tell them about me because they already know I have a house. So I tell people other people's stories, and it gives them variety because it doesn't feel like if she can do it, I can do it. If he can do it, I can do it. Simple as that.
Talking about variety, from what you're saying, from what I'm understanding, is basically saying the same story differently.
In different ways, yeah.
Like different spies, not repeating the same, sounding like a broken record.
Yeah.
Every time you're saying the same thing.
You need to come up
but
with
you can be passing the same message, but you're saying things differently.
In a different manner. So you have to be exciting because as human beings, right? The first time you saw the sun set and the sun turned orange and it was glowing and it looked beautiful. Now nobody goes out and says, come and see the sunset. First time you saw a rainbow, it looked like God in his full glory. Now nobody goes out to look at the rainbow. So first time you saw an aeroplane fly overhead, you rushed out as a child. Now you don't do that anymore because you've become kind of just used to it. You've become accentuated with it. You at this point realize that people are going to likely tune up for your message unless they see something different about the message. So don't try not to do things in a way that is already cut and dry. Everybody is doing the same thing. That's why you should do it. If everybody's going left, go right. If everybody's going up, go down. If everybody's going with too much finesse, go local. But find ways to differentiate yourself from what everybody else was doing. That's how you get noticed.
Okay. So now, We've talked about certainty, we've talked about variety.
Yeah. Third one, human beings need to feel loved.
We all do.
We all need to feel loved. So
We all do.
that is like something that is not going away anytime soon.
Yeah.
So people want to feel loved. They want to be loved in return. So how do you get people to feel loved? Different ways. Remember their birthdays. That's like number one most crucial thing. Remember people's birthdays, right? Celebrate them. There's something that we do here in Lifestyle. We put your picture up there. It makes you feel loved, and everybody, when 96 people are telling you, "Oh, happy birthday, Mr. Ibuka," you start feeling like they just like me. It makes you feel like family.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah.
If you can show people that you care about them, even before they've done business with you,
Yeah.
it's only a matter of time.
As one of my mentors said, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Simple.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's key. Like if you can show people that love, sometimes you can still send out lunch for no reason. Or sometimes you're celebrating in the office, you invite them over, even if they can't make it, it's just the thoughts that counts. Oh, they thought of inviting me. Now they feel extra special.
Yeah.
Right? So you want to be able to play in all of these dimensions and show people that you care about them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So moving on.
Yeah,
The next
so
one.
The next one is, we talked about significance already. So, make people feel important, right? It's different from feeling loved. Make them feel important. So, find ways to show them that, look, I think you're a big deal. I think you're kind of a big deal. And a deal way would be this, an easy way, for our viewers. Learn to put your VVIP customers, your top of the range people that you have interest in, right? People that you think, look, I want to do business with this person. Put them in a group, not a group like a WhatsApp group, right? But like a broadcast list, and send to them information that you think is relevant to them, so that when they start to depend on you for analysis, maybe news analysis on you, breaking news, not just say, oh, 5 dead in a motor accident. That's not the kind of thing that people want to listen to, right? But anything that has to do with taxes, with government grants, with loans, definitely want to have that. And if you're the first person to inform them and break it down using your own style, then definitely they start to come to trust you. And when you call them on the phone, they say, oh, how are you? And they want to respond to you because you've been giving them so much value. So keep filling their emotional bank account with your own goodness, with information. And when you ask for something in return, it's already up there. They already trust you. There's already that need to reciprocate all the good things you've been doing for them. And that's how to make people feel important. Okay, so significance.
Okay.
Big difference.
So on the note of making people feel significant, sometimes when you meet, say for example you're a doctor, bringing back compliments. We talked about compliments earlier. Bringing back compliments. Say you're a doctor and I meet you, making you feel significant and also make complimenting your job.
Oh yes.
Because people put in a lot when it comes to their job.
Oh yes.
Doctors, teachers, lawyer, whatever profession, they put in a lot.
Oh, yes.
So when you acknowledge the fact that they're actually doing something that is tangible, it's almost like you're making them feel significant as well.
Big deal for them. If you just even bother to acknowledge anybody, be the doctor, be the CEO of anything, like you if you tell them, oh look, I know the kind of hard work that you put into what you do, right? I can't even imagine the nights that you spend reading on this and researching. Over in the UK, they're giving 50% discounts for every medical professional. I don't know what they're doing here. They will say they're not doing anything for us. In fact, they're even owing us. You say, what can I do for you? Right? Okay, in fact, on Monday, lunch is on me. Suddenly, your lunch may cost you 1,000 naira. Will suddenly make a doctor that charges routinely 25,000 naira consultation fee to waive it. To waive it for you and say, no, just don't worry about that, right? Because people will bless you based on who they are, not based on what you give to them, right? If you do something that's similar to a Dangote, maybe he will give you something a lot more bigger, right? So 1,000 times, because that's how much bigger it is financially to you. So they don't bless you based on, oh, this woman gave me chicken, let me give her chicken back. No, you gave me chicken, let me give her a car.
True.
Could just be that. So finding how to do this, and this has happened, like it's not even like strange. I have a friend I advised for less than 30 minutes, but the advice apparently for him, he walked out, came up one day and gave me a brand new car, right? This was 2012, and people were wondering, how you taking on this guy? Wait, you join you and this guy together, and all kinds of questions. Even my mom. But that's the reality. Like, if you invest yourself with people in this way, definitely goodness and mercy shall surely follow you. Surely.
The truth is, talking about this whole rapport and building relationship, it starts on the basis of you understanding that people are your greatest assets.
That's right.
People are your greatest asset. If your financial status, your emotional, family, whatever, are just like secondary, you need to understand that people are your greatest asset. Value the people you have around you.
That's right.
Add value to the people you add around. You said something about your WhatsApp. I don't check people's WhatsApp statuses, but when I want to check statuses, I'm always looking for Ebuka, because I know there I will find news, there I will find comedy, there I will find almost everything I need. Once I go to your status, I think I've listened to news for the day. I feel updated. So basically, look for little ways to add value to people around you. It can even be as little as listening to them. Everybody needs a listening ear.
Oh, they do.
Everybody needs a listening ear. So now, moving on, we've talked about significance. The next one.
The next one is people want to have a sense of contribution. They want to feel a sense of contribution. In what ways is what you're doing contributing to more than just making money? Money is important, right? But beyond just making money, nobody sees a man or woman in better lights than when they're doing something for charity. You're never seen in a much better light than when you're seen doing something for charity. It could be a walk for charity, race for charity, raising money for charity. But the moment people start seeing you, try it out, go out and every Saturday go and feed children. Next thing you know, people start asking, oh, how can I be a part of this, your children's day? People that didn't used to pay attention to you, didn't chat to you up, but suddenly they see you giving charity. They start to refer people to you. They start to think that, oh, you're such a wonderful, blessed person simply because you're doing that. So your job now is to start finding out in what ways can you make impact, in what groups should I belong to, right? That kind of just advances me, or the goals I represent, or the mission I'm on to, or the theme I want for my life. What ways can I be aligned to this? I mean, I'm part of different groups, both Rotary Group. I set up my own group, Rainmakers Club. It's a book club because I'm very keen on getting people enlightened. So set up a book club for that. And I'm part of many other endeavors, social endeavors, that doesn't necessarily have to convert to money. I'll tell you why. And this is very important. Everybody needs to understand exactly where I'm coming from. I either do things for financial reasons, right? So there's money down the road or money immediately to be donated. I can do things for that reason. I do things for friendship. If I want to become more friendly with you, or I think you're a friend worth acquiring, I can find out something that's of interest to you and do you that favor of purchasing that. It could be a book, it could be a small gift, but I'll give you to that unprovoked, unasked for. I just give it to you, and you're like, okay, so that can show you that, oh, Ebuka cares about me, right? More than just business, right? Or I can do this for favors. Like, I'll already do certain things so that you can do me a favor in return. So sometimes you ask me for something, oh, Mr. Ebuka, can you help me do this? It may take me pain of time or even money, or asking somebody else to do something and somebody I was not willing to talk to. But when I do that for you, I know you owe me a favor down the line. Right? And I'm not afraid to collect the favor. Wednesday, I'll call you one day and say, hey, you know what? You know what I did for you? I hope you worked out. You say, yeah, you worked out. Okay, I need something now, right now. Right? And I ask you that favor. And that's a life. That's life. We're trading favors. So those are the 3 F's: finances, favors, and friendships. Right? So balance all of that. Balance all of that. Again, it's your way of contributing. Nigeria says, oh, bribery and corruption and all that. Sometimes I don't like bribing. I don't like giving people cash for things, like, especially for jobs. But I almost always ask you, like, is there a particular charity that you support that you would like me to make a contribution to? See, and now that's a very subtle way of giving back to people, right, for favors that they've done to you. So is there a particular charity you're interested in that you would like me to give a cause, any social cause? And you could, some people will tell you, oh, we contribute to our golf course, or there's this girl that has liver sickness in this thing, let me look for her this thing to contribute. And I will say, okay, I'll contribute and I'll put your name. You will send from my account, but your name will be written there clearly. And so finding ways to do this with finesse can just spell a lot of good for you in terms of the social value you can just generate from that. Yes. So once you learn this, now is how do you use this? That's the thing, is you pay attention.
Okay.
I'm going to pay attention to people around me and find out, oh, this guy, right? He wants to be important in this way, and if I have a way to make him important, right, I'm going to leverage that way. It could be, oh, there's a Independence Day party coming up, and I have free tickets. Do you want one? Now, this is front seat tickets. Now it feels important. I said, do you have a babe? He said, no, I get babe. I give him 2 tickets now. So go take your. Now he starts feeling like, okay, he comes to ticket. I got the tickets. He's happy with that, right? Fine. Now he owes me a favor for that's being done, right? But I'm doing this, and it's called strategic kindness.
Okay.
Strategic kindness. Nothing wrong with that, right? Granite seller out there is shouting, buy granite, buy granite, buy granite. You refuse to buy granite. She gives you a full cup and tells you, and to take. Now automatically she triggers something in you, even if you don't eat granite. Because I don't even eat granite, and sometimes granite people will see me and say, oh, buy granite. I say, I don't eat granite. They say, no, fine man, buy granite. I'm not like, and then they give you granite, and anytime they do that to me, I just say, weekend. Next time my wallet comes out and I just give you money and say, I still don't eat granite because it gives me pimples, so I don't eat granite at all. But they seem to always come to me. Then I start even giving them high-level consulting for the granite seller. And I say, don't be shouting buy granite. Shout sweet granite, because that's a big difference.
Yeah.
The same 2 words, but sweet granite is different from buy granite, right? Because if you say it's sweet, then somebody wants to test and be sure how it's.
Yeah.
And that's a big difference. So they say, oh, thank you, sir, thank you, sir. So it's those kind of things. But I wouldn't tell somebody random that if they didn't give me first of all free. But then I will give you high level advice just based on that need to reciprocate a kind gesture.
Yeah. So basically, from what I've gotten when it comes to all of these, the certainty, variety, feeling love, significance, contribution, and all. Yeah. I feel you just have to genuinely care about these people. Boom. Because if you don't, it will show even if you do any of these things. Even when you're paying the compliments, all they are saying is just lies. When you're doing the favor, all they are saying is, it's for a reason, it's for a reason. Yes. So you have to genuinely care about these people, genuinely want to add value to these people, genuinely want to serve them as to regarding that need or that services that you're currently rendering. So you have to genuinely care about the people that you are rendering these services to. That's the only way this model will actually work. If you even work on the model, right? Yeah. You'll find out that you start to care. If it doesn't come naturally for you, because I'm sure some people are like, why do I genuinely care? I have my own family to take care of, right? And some people are like that, right? You don't genuinely like, why should I genuinely care? But when you start to take care of something, it could be a plant, it could be a dog, you end up caring for that dog even more than the dog or the plant cares for you. Yeah. Because you feel like you've invested time and effort on this, and before you know, the feelings start to catch up. Yeah. The sixth one is authenticity, right? So this is what you already found out about yourself. Yeah. Like you have to genuinely do this. So you just said it yourself without. So you're really sharp. You're really catching up. Like you need to be authentic in yourself. Like people need to know that this is who you are as a person. Like if I meet 3 people and they talk about progress and they say, oh, progress, very hardworking, very driven. Oh, very good. Then I know it's true because these are 3 different people talking about you. So that's authentic. Yeah. Right? If somebody tells me something about myself from 3 different dimensions, I have to pay attention to that. Yeah, so. Exactly. Even in a positive or negative way. Both positive or negative way. When one person tells you one thing, another person says the same thing, you have to start watching it because it means they can't both be wrong. That's true. They can't both be wrong. If everybody is saying somebody is black, it means that person is black. That's right. So that's having a teachable spirit, a learnable spirit. Yeah. If I can put it that way. Yeah. Because some people have gotten to these heights where they feel there's nothing they don't know. There's nothing you can teach them. There's nothing you can tell them. What they believe is what they believe. It's good to actually have this level of confidence, but at the same time, it should always be a balance. Oh, well, it's dangerous. Yeah. Like, for me, I think it's dangerous. I do a lot of research and reading. Like, that's maybe one of my hobbies, right? Yeah. I research about just about anything. And sometimes you'll be surprised that what you researched 2 years ago that you were so certain has changed. It's obsolete, has changed. It's already obsolete, right? Because the world is changing. So don't be too sure of what you know or what you want that you're not willing to change when something better comes along. Yeah. Because you're just hung up on that. Yeah. There's always something new to learn. There's always new people coming up on the scene. And if you're not willing to have that intellectual humility to realize that if somebody else out there knows 1% more than you,
That 1% could be the missing piece in your puzzle.
Yeah.
And your puzzle will never be complete without that. So have that humility to ask the question and say, look, can I pick your brain for 30 minutes over lunch? Right? And then be able to ask those questions that are in your mind. I think that just takes you further.
Beautiful, beautiful. So we talked about, now that we've wrapped up on this, I think we've been able to grab something from this. Now let's dive right into the VACAB model.
Okay.
We talked about the VACAB model, but before we dive right into that, check this out. I'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm sure you love what you just saw, right? So that's a 4-bedroom terrace duplex apartment. It's a Google Smart Home with an attached BQ, a rooftop swimming pool to yourself alone, and of course a rooftop sit-out. All this you can get through various packages that Lifestyle Hub has to offer under the extra luxury package. The first package is what we call the Big League package. This ranges from 50 million naira to 85 million naira, depending on location and of course economic realities. So with this, all you have to simply do is pay the sum of 50 to 85 million naira depending on location. You get a post-dated check or a corporate performance bond, and in 8 months time your keys are delivered to you. And guess what? You know I bring good tidings every time. From September 2020, each apartment comes with a comprehensive insurance package that covers you for 1 year against burglary and fire at no extra cost to you, of course. So now moving on to the second package, which is what we call the Elite VVIP package. This is simply where you make up in numbers what you don't want to spend in cash or what you lack in cash. So here we'll talk about the social capital and leverage based system, where you get to pay just 13 million naira. Yes, you heard me right. 13 million naira, and you recommend 4 of your friends or associates that also want to own the same apartment but don't want to spend too much when they can spend 13 million naira. So you pay 13 million naira, you recommend 4, and voila, you qualify for a 4-bedroom terrace duplex apartment. The same apartment somebody paid 50 to 85 million naira to get. You've gotten it with your social capital. So now moving on to the third package, which is what we call the VVIP package. Yes, with this you have to pay just 3 million naira. You pay 3 million naira, you recommend 4 of your friends. Hold up, you're not getting the house yet. So you pay 3 million, you recommend 4 of your friends, and your 4 recommend 4 each, and voila, you qualify for your apartment as well. So you pay 3 million naira, you recommend 4 of your friends, and your 4 recommend their 4 each, and you get your apartment. So the last but not the least, as regarding the extra luxury package, is what we call the VIP package, where you get to pay the sum of 1.5 million naira. Yes, 1.5 million naira, and you're getting the same house that somebody paid 13 million for, 3 million for, and of course 50 to 85 million naira for. So you pay 1.5, you recommend 3 of your friends. Those 3 recommend their 3 each, making 9, and those 9 recommend their 3 each, making 27. And with the day the 27th person comes on board, you're fully qualified for your 4-bedroom Google Smart apartment in the choice locations we have to offer. So before we go dive right into the backup model, check this out. I'll be right back. I'm sure you love what you just saw, right? I love it as well. It's a lifestyle masterpiece. It's called the Solid Refuge Package, and we have 4 different offers by which you can own this for yourself, regardless of your budget. So the first package is what we call the Big Haven. Here you have to pay the sum of 35 million naira. And when you pay your 35 million naira, you immediately get a corporate performance bond of 20% added to the amount you paid. Then upon completion of the construction of your apartment, the keys will be delivered to you fully finished. Now moving on to the second offer, which is what we call the Haven 3.0. Here you have to pay the sum of 7.5 million naira. You recommend 4 of your friends or associates, and voila, you qualify for a beautiful apartment for yourself and for your family. This third package is what we call the Haven 2.0. Here you have to pay the sum of 1.8 million naira. You recommend 4 people, your 4 recommend their 4, and of course you qualify for your apartment. Then the last package is what we call the Haven 1.0. Here you have to recommend 3 people, your 3 recommend their 3, making a total of 9. Your 9 recommend their 3, making a total of 27, and that also qualifies you for the same apartment that somebody paid 1.8 for, another paid 7.5, and another paid 35 million naira. So you have the freedom to choose which of these packages best suits your needs and your budget. All right, so Mr. Ebuka, what are your thoughts as regarding the 2 lifestyle hub prototypes that have just been unveiled to us today?
Well, I think it's brilliant. Like you know, I'm already signed up on the VVIP, but now I'm thinking to myself, can I look for money and sign up on this refuge thing, right? Because I think it's going to just be an ideal place for, as a guest house, right? And for Airbnb, it's going to just be massive value.
And for me, my personal interest in both prototypes is the fact that Lifestyle Hub is providing luxury affordably. So everybody has the opportunity to pick from any of these packages, run with it, and get the end result, which is a luxury apartment to yourself.
In Abuja.
In Abuja, in any location actually. Even in Ghana.
In Ghana, yeah. So Accra has been
even in Ghana, in Gambia. Yeah. So we're going places. So now, before we deviate too much, let's come back.
Yes.
Let's come back. Before we left, we're talking.
I daydreaming already.
I was already swimming in my pool. So coming back, before we left, we talked about the VACAB model.
Yes.
So I think that's where we stopped. So what exactly is the VACAB model?
So let me put it in context. All the things talked about the human needs, those are things you cannot use your eyes to see, right? They are underneath the surface. You need to actually explore, pay attention, ask questions for you to understand people on that level.
Yeah.
But on the surface area, you need to first at least gain rapport with them by what they can see. Now, human beings can be categorized into three in terms of how they represent things in their mind, right? When you're talking to somebody, for example, and you find out the person pauses before responding, it could be that the person has to think in your local language before converting it to English and speaking to them. Now this takes a while, and so the person may speak much more slower, more deliberately, because as this conversion process happens, turns out everybody does the same thing, right? We have a language in our head, and it's either visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. Now it doesn't mean that all three of them can happen at the same time, right? Some people are bilingual, so they think in both pictures, and as they're thinking in pictures, they're thinking in words. Some other people just think in pictures, in videos, and it's fast video, and so you know them because they speak fast, right? They speak like really, really fast. You can tend to think I'm visual because I tend to speak fast, okay? And sometimes I use auditory, and I'm not thinking in pictures, I'm actually just processing words. And at that point, my speaking would kind of slow down, right? I'll tend to use much more bigger, superfluous words, right? And some other times, you're in a different mood, different situation, and you at this point you tend to be more kinesthetic. So maybe you're in the bedroom, you're much more in tune with your innermost feelings. So that's where that comes in. Now, when you meet people, you find out that they on their own have their own representational system, and you can have a clash if you're thinking in visual and the other person is thinking in terms of feelings. Right? And you're going, can you imagine this? Just visualize this. And the other person is feeling, I can't really get that. I don't really feel like it's for me. Or my hunch or my spirit is saying something different. Now, realize that when they start using those words, those are clues that tells you what frame of mind, how are they representing the information that they're getting from you, right? Mentally. Your job at this point will therefore be to fine-tune yourself, right, to fit into their own model of the world. Okay, if you see somebody speaking really fast, spot check them, right? See if they are the kind of people that they like dressing, they pay attention to how they look, they wear jewelry like gold, right, and they wear their makeup. All of these things can add up to that clue that this person might actually be a visual person. So that when you're dealing with them, you speak in words that are more visual. So you just imagine living in your 4-bedroom house with a swimming pool on the top and just drinking your coffee in the morning and waving to your neighbors as they go to work, right? And they're wondering, this woman must be a Yahoo girl. What's she doing in that house up there with swimming pool? And you tell them, oh, just imagine that. Now, because they are visual, they can imagine that. It's not hard for them. And then they can fall in love with the dream. But if you're talking to an auditory person, and you know them because they're much more calm, more reserved, their voice is much more deeper, they can tend to use more words with higher vocabulary than the average. They tend to sound like they control how they're speaking. They want to sound right? Now you know who you're dealing with is highly auditory. You don't want to just send them a picture of, oh, come and invest in Lifestyle Assets Hub. You want to actually talk to them on the phone because they want to hear your words. They judge not what you're saying, but how you're saying it. So they pick up on your tonality a lot. If they sense hesitation or fear in your voice, they pick up on that. If they sense excitement in your voice, they pick up on that, and then they kind of give back what you're giving them. So for auditory people, get on the phone, talk to them. your credit will likely go because they can be quite chatty. But then again, it's well worth it.
So the visuals,
Yeah.
sorry to cut you.
Yeah.
The visuals are basically people that think in images
Yes.
via what they see.
By what they see.
They are more moved by what they see.
They're led by what they see.
Okay, they are led by what they see.
And then they also represent information visually. So they can hear you saying something, but then their mind gets ahead of them by painting pictures of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that's how you kind of operate. Because I can see your eye movements because you know this is how you operate. So that's kind of, they paint pictures of what they see, and that picture is what you want to now, as a master communicator, you want to brighten the picture more,
Yeah.
right? You want to make the picture a lot more vivid. You
Yeah.
want to help them not just imagine a house, but imagine it's their house. Imagine them walking into the house, going to the kitchen, going to bathrooms, and then when they can see that, the next magical thing that happens is that they own the dream.
Yeah.
And nothing is too much to pay for a dream that they have already seen.
Yeah.
It just gets their engines running.
Wow, that's a very powerful tool when it comes to selling
Yes.
and representing your products or services. So now the visuals, they are led by what they see.
Yeah.
The auditories, they are led by what they hear.
Yeah.
They are led by what they hear. So what's the next one?
The last category, we'll call them the kinesthetics, right?
Okay.
And these are led by what they feel, what they can touch, how their innermost spirits, their gut instincts
Yeah.
tells them. That's also from there you hear things like, man, this guy, we don't just vibe. My energy does not agree with him, or my spirit does not agree with his spirit, or
Yeah.
there's something off about it. I can't really quite place how it is. And when they're talking to you, they'll be looking down, either on the left or on the right. You notice by the eye movement, as compared to a visual person, that if you ask them questions, they will likely look up and try to recollect a memory,
Yeah.
right? So these people will likely check within themselves, and try as though it's coming from within.
Yeah.
These are touchy people. They are touchy-feely, right? You can also tell them they like wearing comfortable shoes. They're a bit laid back when speaking. They're a bit just more relaxed than the average person, right?
Yeah.
Calm guys. So this is, for these kind of people, realize that to influence them, you can't just tell them about, we have this thing coming up. They want to see, they want to touch. So if possible, take them to the place. If you tell them about a car and you won't sell them the car, let them go for a test drive. You tell them about the house and let them go and see the house for what it is. That's how they get sold, by touching, by feeling.
Yeah.
That's what you want to get for them. So work on that differences with different people.
So now, talking on the VACAB model,
Yeah.
it is spelled as V for visuals,
Yes.
A for auditories,
Yeah.
K for kinesthetics,
Yes.
A and D for what?
Auditory digital. Okay, so these are the auditory digital. These people, let me just put it this way, they rather consume information based on what they read, right? So the digital part is it comes from inside. They're
Yeah.
different from the auditories that hear information from outside.
Yeah.
The auditory digital is much more like, if I was to convince them, I will put it in writing as a proposal,
Yeah.
so that when they are reading, it's their voice that they're hearing within themselves. There's nobody there for them to argue with.
Yeah.
They will read it, they will consume it, they will masticate it, it becomes their own, right? And then they can come up with their own solutions by themselves, as though they weren't externally influenced. They'll feel that they did their own research, and so it's them telling you that, oh, this model makes sense, as opposed to you telling them the model makes sense. So when you're with someone that's auditory digital, they consume a lot of information through reading. So give to them through reading. Former President Obasanjo, you realize that when he wants to pass on strong information, he puts either an open letter or a closed letter, but he's fond of writing letters.
Yeah.
And people that do that tend to think that everybody, the whole world, is interested in reading, right? So if you want to get to that kind of person, that it just tells you that also writes.
Yeah.
Also writes, because then he'll read. So his daughter knows that, so that's why she wrote a letter 2 years ago, and that blew up everything. So, yeah.
I actually love this VACAB model because it basically helps you to categorize people and know how best to relate with them.
That's right.
You can't be related to somebody that is a visual person in an auditory way. You just miss the point. It will be more difficult to pass the message across.
Yeah.
So now, looking at these visuals, auditory, kinesthetics, and visual auditory digital, how can one easily detect people that are like that?
So the visual people, they're sharp dressers, they care about their dressing. The auditory people, they care about their vocabulary. Their voice is much more measured and averagely paced. They don't speak fast, they don't speak slow. They speak kind of mid-range, and their voice is much more, it has depth.
Yeah.
Right? So because they're speaking from their belly out.
Yeah.
When they're speaking, they tend to lay emphasis on the words. So they're nice to listen to. They're actually nice to listen to, the auditory people. It sounds like a radio presenter, you know, those late night DJs with the whole flow. That's how they sound. So you will know that this person is coming from an auditory perspective.
Yeah.
Your job to build rapport with them is, if you're a visual person, slow down, right? Slow down the pace of of how fast you speak, so that you're much more within range of how they want to consume information based on how they speak. For the kinesthetics, they're much more relaxed. They like wearing relaxed clothes, relaxed shoes, you know, possibly slippers if in this part of the world, right? They're much, they could be feely, like more on the touchy part of life, right? And then they like hugs, they like holding hands, all of those things. It tells you that this is the kind of person you're dealing with, and you kind of just adapt yourself and your communication style. And that's why I like saying, look, you have a style of communicating, you don't have a type of communicating. Because if you say it's a type, then you box yourself into, this is how I am. But if you say it's a style, you know that today I can be wearing this, tomorrow I can wear a different style. And so that's who you should be as a master communicator. You shouldn't have one type. You should just be fluent across all types.
Beautiful. It's really been a very interesting and educating session thus far. And I would like to give each and every one an action plan per se, because now we're talking about identifying the categories that people belong to, so you can communicate better with them. I think it has to start with you. It definitely has to start with you. Like, you should even know which of the category you belong to.
That's right.
Like, when we're having a conversation, I've been asking myself, okay, which of these category do you fall into? And I think I can answer myself now.
Okay.
So basically, you need to also do that for yourself. Like, think. Do I fall into the visual category? Do I fall into the auditory category? Do I fall into the kinesthetics or the auditory digital? Figure that out for yourself. It will even help you figure it out for others easily.
Right. Yeah.
Because when you're able to do that for yourself, when you're talking to somebody, you can easily tell that, this person is a visual person. So if I want to sell this person on this particular service or product, I have to provide visual materials. When you're talking, exactly. So when you're talking to somebody that is moved by what they hear, you know, you have to provide communication skills that entails you communicating with them via them hearing your voice or whatever.
That's right.
Then if it's somebody that wants to feel, you know, you have to give them the product or service to actually touch, to actually get them sold on whatever it is that you're selling. So do that for yourself, and also check around you, because one thing is, now that you have the consciousness of this, it's easy for you to pay attention to when people are doing these things around you, and they've been doing it before, just like you didn't pay attention to it. Exactly. So now that you're conscious of these things, you'll be able to detect who is this. Start with your colleagues on Monday, go to work as like, oh, this person is this person is this person is this. So before we wrap it up for today, I talked about the book we have to give earlier by John C. Maxwell, the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. So the question for this week, I think I would like you to do the honors. Ask the question. You basically did the teaching, right?
Yes.
So ask the question that you want them to answer, and the winner or the first person to get the answer correctly gets this book sent to you.
All right, excellent. So I want you, dear viewer, to tell me, based on this interview you just listened to, what are the 6 levers, the 6 human needs that you need to be aware of? And when you find out the 6 human needs, I want you to also share with us what your top 3 needs are. And the reason is this: if you know your top 3 needs, realize that's almost always going to influence you. If perhaps you're driven by the need for significance, love, and you're driven by...
You answered the question.
No, I'm saying, I'm reading you. I'm trying to read you, for example, if you're driven by that. Because from the little we've heard about, and me watching your body language, I say, okay, fine, she might be driven by significance, need for significance, need to be loved, and the need for certainty. Maybe that could be her 3 drivers. Now, you start watching your every move, and you realize why you're working in a certain place, why you do things a certain way, and all of that. So that tells you more about yourself, and then you start figuring out what drives your mom, what drives your siblings, right? And once you can figure people out, it makes you a much more nicer person to deal with, because people tend to feel like, oh, you get me, or you just completely get me, and that just makes everybody bond to you. So try it out. Let's know what the 6 needs are, and then what your top 3 needs are. There's 6 in total. We talked about them. If you don't remember, please rewind the video and watch again. Thank you for your time.
That's a very beautiful question. So the first person to get the question correctly in the comment section, we have this sent to him or her at no extra costs. So moving on, today we've basically talked about communication and how to apply this in prospecting, in talking to clients, in talking to people, in talking to families, because the more you're able to communicate and pass your message, as they say, what you say is not important, it is what the person you're talking to is hearing.
That's right.
So that is exactly why communication is very, very important. So a lot of insights and action plans have been passed across today. Kindly do yourself the favor of implementing this, because whatever you hear, whatever we teach, the result is in the application. The learning is in the application. So for those of us that might be joining us late, it is advised that you go to the Lifestyle Hub YouTube channel, subscribe, and of course we'll watch this video. But Mr. Ebuka is a nice person, so please kindly do a quick summary of everything we've talked about for those of us that are joining late.
All right, so if you're just joining us, let me tell you what you've missed already. Number 1, we talked about 6 human needs, okay, and why it's important to you. Exactly. If you can learn these 6 human needs, I'll tell you why. You can influence anybody, because you know exactly what that mumu button is. All right, so that's key. Second thing we also talked about 3 levels of trust, okay? Trust in yourself, trust in the company, trust in your product. We talked about how you can also learn that and how you can deploy that when you meet a client. We also talked about how to build rapport with people by your physiology, how you use your words, how you use your body language, whether you're crossing your leg with your clients, whether you're drinking the same thing they're drinking. We talked about that a bit. And then we also finally wrapped up with talking about your feedback, okay? You tell us what you've learned so far. There's something to be won. Yeah, right here. Okay, excellent book. I've read this myself. And so if you tell us that, someone is going to contact you. So back to you.
So Mr. Ebuka, thank you very much for that very elaborate summary. I'm sure you were able to grasp a little from what he just said, that if you're joining us late. So the winner, congratulations to the winner of this week's book. So kindly follow the instruction as indicated in the comment section, and this will be sent to you at no extra cost. So that being said, thank you very much for joining us today. I'm sure you learned 1 or 2 things. I'm sure you enjoyed today's episode, but don't forget that next week comes across to you another wonderful and juicy episode as we bring another wonderful speaker your way. So till we meet again, bye for now.